And here we are back for another video, and this time we're going to the Judgement House, which is the lair of the Bell Killer, apparently. So, nice bit of an intro, so please forgive this one, there's a bit of jump cuts here, so I'll do my best to explain how we're getting through. So firstly, you come through, that staircase is going to become relevant. So, I was being quiet for that door closing. Anyway, so heading up that staircase, first thing you want to do is reveal this, and straight away there is clue number 1. So you can see 11 in total, so we're going to go through. So back round in to the other side here, and then down this corridor to your left, immediately to the right, hopping through the wall, and we will find another clue. Now what you want to do is backtrack back into the main corridor, then this time take an immediate left, walking through down to the end of this room here, loop around, and just on the right hand side of the wall there you can find clue number 3. Back in the main corridor now, that you just saw was when you're walking towards the end. So just turn around, back a little bit, you find the upturned bed, and then there's a door there that you can remove. Now that stumped me for ages, didn't realise you could remove that door, sorry. But anyway, there's clue number 4. So back to the end of this corridor, and see the bookcase, walk through. In fact, just walk straight through this room. Now this is where we're going to have to bear with me while I try and explain what's going on here. So that wall in front of us, what you're going to do is head to that doorway just to the right of it and go into the next room, hopping across this corridor here into the next room. I'm going to quickly hide into this little ghost thing just to orientate a little bit. Out of the ghost, straight in this next room with the room with the crow. There's a little door to your left there. That's where you're going to find your next clue there. When eventually I decided to pick it up. Right, now, back into the corridor we just crossed, this time heading left. You see the room with the bath in there. Through here to the toilet. I suppose that's the toilet. Pick up your next one. Now just do a U-turn and head straight through the wall, straight through. Another crow there. Behind the crow is our next clue. Now, back on that corridor we've been zigzagging across. Right at the very end, there's some stairs. Heading right round the stairs, round in the corner, you come to kitchen area, head right, and then immediately left. I don't know what that is, another toilet judging by that sink. Now turn back on yourself, straight away, heading through, you're going to find your next clue. Now we're pretty much done with this kitchen area, so this brings us back what we've got in the room. Straight across, straight into this room here. Turning around, going through. Now cutting around here because there's loads of enemies. This is what the room at the end looks like when there's no enemies. Jump through the wall. Again, this room has loads of enemies, so this is what it looks like after the enemies are gone. After you got rid of all of them, just head to the very end, turn a left here, and then somehow struggle but get through that room. There's your next clue. Now backing out of this little section here to the end of, you follow the stairwell down and you come to a cellar eventually, and now in the cellar. Just going to spin the camera around and let you see that's the door you come down in. So you just want to head to basically diagonally opposite to the next corner. Head down this little stairwell, turn left right the way through, and there is your next clue. So that's it. That's all 11. Go story.
Salem wasn't the most exciting place for a couple of rambunctious 13-year-olds. And playing with my friends after school, they usually required a healthy dose of imagination to spice up the underwhelmingly bleak landscape. To us, Salem's history was just a bunch of creepy stories and tourist attractions. Witches didn't exist, we all knew that. That's why Robbie Barnes was the laughingstock of the entire school. He actually believed that they were real. Looking back, I wish I hadn't teased him so much. Maybe then he'd still be alive. I forget which one of my friends actually came up with a plan to prank Robbie, but it didn't take him long to get us all on board. My job was to find an example of an old spell. It took me all of 15 minutes. And the library had practically every book ever written on the subject. The next step involved the Judgement House. It sat up on the hill, abandoned. Everyone said it was haunted. What made it even creepier were the rumors that Judge Hawthorne burned the remains of accused witches in the house's various fireplaces. That's where Robbie comes in. We dared him to sneak into the Judgement House in the middle of the night and collect a handful of ashes from each of the fireplaces. Then he'd have to light some candles, sprinkle the ashes, and read the spell. We told him that if done correctly, the spell would supposedly blow out all the candles. If he agreed to do all this and the candles so much as flickered, we would promise to stop making fun of him. We could see that he was scared, but to his credit, he agreed to go through with it. What we didn't tell him was that we had set up a hidden camera to catch all the hilarity on tape. The next day, Robbie didn't come into school. We assumed he had chickened out and was too embarrassed to face the music. Then I heard that Robbie went missing. I felt the chill run down my spine as I retrieved the tape from our hidden camera. I pressed play and fast forward until I saw Robbie. He was doing just as we instructed him to. But then, a shadowy figure crossed in front of the camera. Robbie turned in horror just as the camera cut to static. When the image finally returned, Robbie was gone, and the only sign that anything had happened at all was the now smoldering fireplace over in the corner.